Good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday, June 19th, and it's time for another update of what's going on in about Venetian Isles. First few couple of things before we get to the big one, which is the status of the project, are some housekeeping things. In case you don't know, the pools are open, the tennis and the pickleball courts are open, and you can sign up electronically on myvenetianisles.com to make use of those amenities, weather permitting. Today, obviously, it's pouring rain and lightning out. Looks like it's going to be that way this weekend too, so unfortunately you may not be able to use it. But the good news is up to 25 people at a time are able to use the pool deck now, and hopefully soon the county will ease those restrictions so we can let even more people go at a time. Probably later this coming week, I think Lindsay and I are going to put together a video walking through the sign-up process, because there does seem to be a little confusion as to whether you can sign up for each of the pools both on the same day or can a couple sign up together, but I don't want to take all the time right now to go through that. We're going to create a separate video with the screen up to show you how to accomplish what needs to be done if you're having any problems. In the meantime, if you do have a problem, just call the main number and ask to speak to Teresa or speak to Jem or speak to any of us, and we'll walk you through the process. Second topic. We sent out an email earlier this week talking about the mulching. It's time to do mulching again, and that mulching is going to start back in Sorrento, is the first community that's going to get it. No particular reason, just random luck of the draw. They'll be starting the week on the 22nd of June, and weather permitting, they're going to continue until they finish the whole community. After that, as soon as that's finished, or as soon as possible, based on the weather, we will then do the power washing of the walkways and all of that so that the place looks beautiful once we're finished with the mulching. Next topic of conversation. Yesterday we sent out an e-blast about the speed bumps. That really was just to let everybody know that we are changing the speed bumps so that they are all the same as the ones that were changed by the clubhouse intersection. The pictures that were there were just stock clip art pictures. They're not pictures of the actual speed bumps. It was just something to fill the page. So the good news is that the week of the 28th, they're supposed to start replacing the yellow speed bumps with the better ones, which are the low impact rubber ones. The only difference is going to be that there won't be a space in between the two pieces. It'll actually just go from side to side, so it covers the whole lane, and that hopefully will stop people from trying to drive around them as well. Remember, the speed bumps are not a permanent solution. Permanent solution will come when the paving of the road happens, as the completion of the clubhouse happens sometime maybe 12 months from now. The next thing is we sent out this afternoon an update about the Venetian Isles barcode and applications procedures. This is a streamlined way for you to get the everyday things that have to be done now that the clubhouse is closed. The first one is the barcodes. The barcodes, all you have to do is call up during the day and speak to Teresa. This is Monday to Friday only, and she'll set an appointment time for you between 2 and 3 in the afternoon for you to go up to the gatehouse and get the barcode put on your car. This avoids having to run back and forth to the gatehouse all day every time somebody needs a barcode. It only makes sense. The next one is ACC applications, and it really follows the same for sales and leasing applications. They're listed separately, but the procedure is the same. Not everybody's aware, but you can get all these documents emailed electronically to you if you let us know that you need them. So you can print them out at home, you can fill them out online, you can even, if you have the ability to scan from your printer, you can scan them back. This avoids you having to make physical contact with people while we're still having all these COVID issues, and it saves you having to go back and forth and wonder what's going on. So it says, please submit the application via email, or if you don't have access to email, you can drop off your application in the mailbox that's behind the gatehouse. If you haven't noticed yet, there is a mailbox behind the gatehouse that looks just like your regular mailboxes in the community. If you put all your paperwork in an envelope with your address on it, stick it in there once a day, Teresa will go up there and process your documents. The only day that ACC documents are going to be processed is on Wednesdays. So you should hold all your documents and just put them up there on Wednesday. We're not processing ACC requests 7 days a week. It's only going to be done on Wednesdays. And then obviously as soon as the ACC committee meets, you'll get the answers to those requests. Next one is sales and lease applications. Same thing. You need to put the application into that mailbox, and then someone will call you if something is not clear. If you're not clear when you're going through things online, then you naturally should just call and ask for Teresa. She'll walk you through and get you the information you need so that everything is in order when your application is renewed. The last thing on that mail out was work orders. Please submit your work orders also online. You have the ability to go to myvenetianiles.com and submit a work order, and that will be received via email electronically, and it'll be processed without you having to either call and get somebody on the phone or come to the gatehouse up front or figure out where to get a work order done. If for some reason or other you don't have access to email or it's just too cumbersome for you to do that, then naturally continue to call, but please call between 9 and 3, Monday to Friday, and ask to speak to Teresa. She'll either walk you through the process or she'll fill out the work order for you. We're trying to make it as convenient as possible to do all of these things while still leaving time for productivity to happen with the office staff. Okay, that's that. Let's talk about communications. There's obviously a need for more communication between the board and even management and the community. We're aware of that. With COVID, we can't have board meetings because we can't have that many people in one place at one time. Historically, you'd be able to come to the clubhouse, we'd have a meeting, and we'd answer all your questions. What's happened in that vacuum of not being able to do that is people are relying on hearsay around the community and rumors, and unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, that stuff may have some factual truth to it, but when it's not in the context of a bigger picture, it's easily misconstrued. So, the board, realizing that, along with the other presidents of each local board, decided that we needed to have a president's meeting. President's meeting, if you don't know, is an event that usually happens once a month where one person, usually the president, from each association meets with a representative from the master board to share their comments, their concerns, what they're hearing about in their community with the master board so they can get feedback on how to respond to the residents in their community, and this is the proper channel for them to bring their concerns to the master board to say, hey, you know what? I think you need to think about this. So realizing that probably speaking to 6 presidents was not enough to get a feeling of what the community really wants to know about, we said, please invite one other board member. We did that because if we invited more than one board member, like we could have invited all the board members of every association, we want the most number of people possible. We couldn't do that because that's far in excess of the number of people that are allowed under the current health guidelines to congregate in one place. So we said, next best thing, bring yourself, bring one other person from your board, and this way by the time we're finished having our talk, we should have at least 2 board members on every community as well as the master board knowing the answers to whatever questions somebody could come up with. Again, then those boards in turn could meet and disseminate the information any way they wanted to, besides the way we're going to disseminate it. So we put together a list of questions and answers based on emails that came from concerned residents, things they've heard in the community, etc., etc. We came up with the answers to those and we distributed them at that president's meeting. And basically the conversation was, the only mission of this meeting is to get information out in a format that everybody could understand. Because the other problem we've come to the conclusion of is that we may give you information, but since we're involved in the information on a day-to-day basis, what we say may sound evident to us. But we needed to step back and say, okay, somebody who doesn't do this every day and has no idea where we are in the process might not hear what we're saying the way we think we're saying it. So that afternoon was spent with all of the people saying, please read through these, let's banter back and forth about what the right way is to say it, Is everybody going to interpret it the right way? And I must tell you, it was very productive. In fact, that brings me to another issue that seems to be conversation out in the community, is that since you only see me on the TV, I'm running everything, and the master board has ceded all of their opinions to me, and I'm just running everything. Most people understand that that's really quite silly. I don't run everything. Just because you see me on the television or I'm the person giving you an answer, that doesn't mean the board is not involved. The board is involved at an appropriate level. The board is making all the decisions. The management company's job is to make sure we don't run afoul of the statutes, make sure that things are not done emotionally, and to make sure we protect the assets of the association and to carry out the will of the board. So that being said, we think it's really important that you get to see what's going on at these meetings. So you will have a series, I believe it's 8 videos. They are somewhat time consuming to go through, but you can watch them. They will be replacing what is currently on Channel 95. So you can see the conversations that happened about the questions and answers and why the answers are what the answers are. We thought that's the best way for you to really see that it's not just Herb running the show or me running the show. Literally, all these people that have volunteered their time are involved in the project. They're involved in making the decisions, and you will see that. The other part of that is, at the end of this video, you will see there is a way for you to text in or email in your questions if you have questions about anything you see, or if maybe you don't understand it after we've explained it. Don't feel bad about just shooting us an email and asking us what you need clarification on something, because we're here to do that for you. Again, if we didn't have COVID, it'd be real easy to have a board meeting, do this with 300 people, and have a conversation. So we're really trying our best to get the information to you in this new environment, which no one has ever navigated before. I will tell you, the document is very lengthy. I think it's about 7 pages long. Many people don't want to read a whole document, so I'm going to give you the 3 main takeaways that seem to be what people are concerned about. The first takeaway is the project going to be done on the budget that we spoke about, and are there going to be any special assessments? The answer to that is the project is on target for us to have no special assessments and to not make changes to our budget. So anything you're hearing to the contrary is not anything for you to worry about. It is under budget. Did things come in over budget? Yes. Most of the things that came in over budget, though, were misunderstandings as to what the actual scope was of what somebody was supposed to do. Once those things were addressed, the thing came back down to the budget was supposed to be. So have no concerns. There will be no special assessments. The second thing is, has the scope of the project changed? Did you take out the upstairs? Are we still getting a fitness center? Are we still getting more parking? The scope has not changed. Everything that was voted on as a capital improvement is still being included. The level of furnishings, everything has remained the same. All the scuttlebutt about, oh, they're not going to do this, there's not going to be a lanai, that's just scuttlebutt. I'm here to tell you that as of today, everything is in there and it's going to be beautiful. The third part, obviously, is the most frustrating one, which is the timeline. That timeline is frustrating for the board members. It's sure as hell frustrating for management because it keeps moving. It hasn't moved all that much once you understand the backstory of where we were when we took the vote for the project. I can talk about that a little bit later. But there have been some delays based on our ability to get the correct price for the clubhouse, not the fitness center. Fitness center, that's all buttoned up. Parking lot, all those other things are buttoned up. It really comes down to the clubhouse. And again, the discrepancy with the clubhouse was a problem with communication about what was actually here to start with, to be added to, rather than just rebuilding a whole new building. Again, we have confidence from the general contractors, the architects, the engineers, the subcontractors, that once those changes are made, we're going to have this GMP word, gross maximum price, that you keep hearing about. We're going to have one that they can put on that piece of the contract And we'll be in contract for that clubhouse as well as all the other things that need to get done. At this point in time, the board is anticipating signing a contract to start the work for the first phase of the project sometime within the next week. Again, they're hammering out the details, but that's supposed to happen. With that being said, if it happens, the timeline is that at mid-July at the very latest, they should be starting the actual work. Again, that's based on the information we have today. If they start in mid-July, the time frame for doing the project has not ever changed. It's 12 months from the day they start, is what they've told us. Between you and I would say add a couple of months for things happening, because things always happen. But that means if we start in mid-July, we should be done 12 months later. Our commitment to you is, if something happens that it's not going to be that, we're going to tell you when it happens. We're not going to just tell you, oh, by the way, it's, here's 12 months and it's over. That's a communication thing. So we will keep you informed of what that is. So the three things are no change in scope, no change in price, no assessments, and the timeline is probably 12 months from July 15th, maybe a little bit longer, but it is not that it's going to be delayed forever. So in wrapping all of that up, you're going to see after this a series of videos. Choose which ones you want to watch, because I can't imagine you want to sit there for the whole day like I had to and the other board members did, listening to all of these discussions. But there are important things discussed. For example, why is the construction taking so long? What's the status of the permits? Have there been delays in getting the permits? If so, why? Do we have an expediter to move the process along? Do we have a project manager that's independent from the construction company? We hear rumors about not having a construction contract in place. What's the GMP, gross maximum price, and why is it important? We voted on this so long ago. Why is it taking so long? We talk about the status of our loan. We have borrowed absolutely no money, in case you're wondering. So that's a good thing. We are in the process of renegotiating our loan to get a better interest rate, because obviously in this environment we can get a better rate. So that's really good news. How much has been spent on the project so far? That information is actually on the internet in our financials every month. Now I understand most people, if you're not accountants or whatever, are not going to find it so easily. So what we've done in this question and answer session is we've broken it down to what's been spent to date on the engineer, the architect, the permits, all that other stuff. Nothing unusual has been spent, and it's available and always has been available anytime someone asks or looks on the internet. Every month the financials for every association, for the Master Association, are printed on the website. And again, if you have trouble navigating that, email us, give us a phone call, we'll be happy to walk you through it. And then who will be doing the construction? Hedrick Brothers is the company that will be doing the construction. And then the last topic we talk about in that forum is we're still collecting this $37 a month. Why are we still collecting that? Is it going to the project? What's happening with it? All of that is answered in all of these videos, and it's also going to be sent to you in an e-blast over the next couple of days. Remember, if you have any questions at all, please email us through myvenetianisles.com, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Try and have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully it doesn't rain the entire weekend, and I hope we can all see you soon once this COVID thing is over.